Welcome to our Daylong for the Refuge in the Three Jewels Discovering Buddhism module. Thank you for joining us. And fortunately, this is being recorded because unfortunately, I'm so sorry that people could not get into the link today, and I don't know how to remedy that. So this way, you can watch the recording. Thank you so much. So please find that comfortable posture for your body. And what we're going to do today is a little intro. I'll take you through roughly half-hour segments, 20 to 30-minute segments of meditation. So we're really going to focus on meditation in this day long. We've had the course. You've had a lot of teachings, a lot of information. There's readings that accompany the course. There's been exercises. There's meditations that we've taken through this 5-week period. And this is the really nice time to just sit with all the information. So we're going to go through mostly the meditations related to this course. And we'll be doing one of them 2 times just so you get that familiarity, which is the best way to do the meditations. So there will be time to stretch. There will be a break for an hour in the middle. And welcome to your practice. Thank you for joining. So let's just find that comfortable meditation posture, the posture first for the body. You can sit in a chair if you like. You can sit on a sofa or in your meditation position if you're on a cushion with legs crossed. Whatever, the main part is whatever's most comfortable for you. And if you are using a chair or a sofa, if you can sit up straight, not leaning too heavily against the back of the seat, so that your back has the ability to become strong and it doesn't create any obstruction to the flow of energy through your system. The head is slightly tipped down, so it's not too high to create distraction. It's not too low to create drowsiness. It's a very subdued posture. Normally we place our hands palm up. Okay, so at the level of the navel, pressed right against the body so the arms actually go out a little bit. You've got your right palm on your left, thumbs pressed together. There tends to be what they say, subtle veins down the palm of the thumb. They call it a bodhicitta vein that closes off delusion as you press them together. So it's a very active, energetic posture, but it has to be comfortable. So shoulders are not up by the ears, the shoulders are down. You can have your shoulder blades going down your back. So again, it creates a nice open flow of energy, erect posture as if your sides are long. Lama Zopa Rinpoche says your sides are extended. And that creates that nice extension in the spine. Can you try your best? If you're seated in a chair or on a sofa, have your feet flat on the ground. You can also put a cushion under them. Feel the grounding, okay? Not only your space and your floor, and even if you're on a cushion cross-legged, but feel the grounding, okay, with the earth, as if there's roots from the earth supporting you, not leaden, holding you down, supporting the practice. If you'd like, lightly close your eyes. And check that the mouth is relaxed with the lips lightly together. Teeth are slightly apart. The tongue is curled behind the front teeth, touching the upper palate in the mouth. It tends to cut down on the production of saliva, so you're not swallowing as much when you're meditating, which can distract us. 7-point Vairocana posture. Find your way into this posture as best as you can. Let's relax ourselves now into this posture. So, start, it's a very important part of meditation to relax. So, start at the very top of your head, moving all the way down and out and down through your feet and toes, using your respiration to open up an inhalation, to open up any space and any tense areas in your body that you're holding. So, do check your forehead and jaw and neck and shoulders where we store a lot of tension. Use that exhalation to release any tension you find you're holding. Just bringing yourself to as relaxed a place as possible. Just take a couple of minutes. Let's think about the posture of the mind right now. And this is about setting our motivation, setting our motivation. Really, this is us directing our mind in the most positive way. What we like to focus on in this tradition is benefiting all living beings. As humans, we're extremely limited in doing so. As a Buddha, as a fully awakened being, fully enabled, fully empowered, you're free of all fear. You have an omniscient and all knowing consciousness. So you see all situations, you know all that's happening for all living beings simultaneously. And your whole motivation is about wisdom, compassion, loving kindness. All your good qualities are fully manifest. So that's a path, that's a means, becoming a Buddha, to the result, the real goal, the real aim of what we want. What we direct our practices towards is benefiting all living beings. So take a moment, if you like that idea, feel free to fold that into your motivation. Take a moment right now to set that motivation. So again, if your eyes are lightly closed, if you find you're drowsy, let a little light in. Let's be practical. You can have the eyes slightly open, but not too much to distract you. If you find you're very distracted, then close the eyes. Let's bring our awareness to a breath, a normal, natural breath, just as a settling meditation. And let's try to clear out some of the subtle energy systems of the body with a deeper breathing practice called the 9-round breathing. There are many different pranayama practices. With this practice, we're going to begin, as Lama Yeshe sometimes teaches, with an exhalation. So let's begin by closing off our right nostril. Even though it looks like it's my left, it's actually my right. It's a mirror image here. And I'm going to exhale deeply through the left nostril. Then when I switch, I'll close off the left nostril, inhaling deeply through the right. As you do this, imagine you're releasing anger and hatred from your mind stream 3 times. Second round, we're going to close off our left nostril. We're going to exhale deeply through the right. As you switch, you're going to close off the right nostril, inhaling deeply through the left. And as you do this, imagine you're lessening attachment and desire in your mind stream 3 times. Our last round will be exhaling through both nostrils, inhaling through both nostrils. Feel that you are lessening confusion and ignorance from your mind stream 3 times. And just bringing the mind back to the breath. Normal, natural breath, just to settle your mind there for a moment. So, our first meditation is going to focus on the nature of the mind. The nature of the mind. It's not specifically associated with this Discovering Buddhism module, but it's really helpful for us to get a sense of how our mind functions and that there is this space of awareness there from which all the ideas, thoughts, meditations come from. So just imagine right now as if you're lying on your back on a grassy hillside, looking up into the expanse of a clear blue sky. That sky on a clear day seems to be vast and expansive. As much as you can, as you focus on that clear blue sky, merge your mind with that expanse as best as you can. That clear blue sky, clear, spacious, luminous, that is like the true nature of your mind, that is like your mind. Just stay there for a few minutes right now, as much as you can, merging yourself with that experience of the sky. So you may feel that your mind is scattered and distracted, and you never have an experience of any clarity in your mind. But one of the actual characteristics of your mind is it's clear, clarity. The other characteristic is your mind is aware. So clarity and awareness are really the two qualities of your mind according to Tibetan Buddhism. So if you don't have that experience of the clarity, okay, this is helpful, very helpful meditation. Keep returning to that clear, spacious luminosity of the clear blue sky that is like your mind, and you merge yourself with it as much as possible. And now, as you're watching that space, simply notice distractions when they arise, a thought, a sound. Watch how you might follow it for a while and distract yourself, but then simply return back to merging with that sky and notice in the sky at times there are clouds. Sometimes there's light, wispy clouds, like a light thought you're having, mundane thought that passes through your consciousness. Sometimes the clear blue sky is completely obscured by a bank of rain clouds, and you can't see it at all. Covered over by, as if your mind has vast distractions in it. People who are having, for instance, a panic attack or chronic depression, anything like that, anxiety, all the other delusions that basically cloud our mind, like hostility, attachment, pride, jealousy, fear. They're just like clouds in the sky. Busyness, okay? Lots of clouds or one light cloud. So if you notice these coming up as you're trying to merge yourself with that clear, spacious, luminous experience of the sky on a clear day, vast, never ending, just notice the distractions. You can even note a thought or simply thinking, back to merging yourself with the sky on a clear blue day. Could be a sound. So it's simply a sound. Maybe you note hearing, that's all. Let it go. And let the thought go off like bubbles. They're very light, like clouds. Let those thoughts and distractions float off into space as you return your awareness as much as you can merge the clear blue sky that is like your mind. Try your best. 5 minutes. See if you can notice what's between the thoughts and distractions. Thoughts and distractions that arise in your mind. Can you notice the spaces between them? There are gaps there. So instead of focusing at times on the thoughts and distractions, see if you can focus on the space between them. Stare at that instead. It's more subtle, it's more difficult. Try your best. Can you notice where a thought comes from? Where does a thought come from? See if you can find that space of where a thought comes from, that space of awareness that is your mind, that is like that clear blue sky again. So, again, if you get confused, get distracted, just go back to lying on the hillside, looking up into the expanse. Clear blue sky that is like your mind, and simply watch what happens and watch what arises. But try to keep the main point of the focus on merging yourself with the clear blue sky. When you're focused there a bit, notice where a distraction arises from. That space of awareness. Notice those spaces between the distractions. Instead of getting carried away by the bubble of distraction or the bubble of thought, again, focus on the space instead as best as you can, like a laser zeroing in there. Get a taste of that characteristic of your mind, that spacious quality, the clarity. And let go of everything else. Just let go. And slowly return your awareness if you're lying on the hillside, gazing up into the clear blue sky. Slowly bring yourself back into the space where you're sitting. And just observe anything that's arising in your mind right now, just gently. And slowly, when you're ready, please open your eyes. We'll take a 5-minute break. This next meditation comes from our Refuge in the Three Jewels class, and we are going to do a meditation involving Shakyamuni Buddha. So it's a visualization with mantra recitation. Just please relax. You can listen along and reflect. I'll share my screen at one point so you can also do the Shakyamuni Buddha mantra along like that. So again, just settle in your comfortable posture. And just bring your awareness to your breath, a normal, natural breath. Just make any adjustments in your body that you need. And anytime you're starting a meditation as a separate entity, a separate meditation, it's always nice to have some thought of the motivation, setting that heartfelt bodhicitta motivation. In this meditation, imagine the space around you, seated around you, particularly on your sides right now. To your sides are family members, even if they passed away, to visualize them. Behind you, you could place any colleagues or people that you like. And just to imagine all the rest of the space, if you can, is filled with sentient beings, living beings. Just think how the point of this is we really would wish that all of them could be happy, that all of them could be free of suffering. It's for this purpose for them that we're doing these practices right now. So thank you again for joining, for making the time for this. So in the space in front of you, please visualize slightly higher than the level of your forehead. Just a few feet in front of you is an image of Shakyamuni Buddha. Imagine as much as you can of the visualization is in the nature of light, clear and transparent. So if you'd like, first visualize a beautiful golden jeweled throne, again in the nature of light. On the throne, there is an open, multicolored lotus flower. Some people visualize a white lotus flower, but a lotus represents renunciation because it rises out of a swamp unstained. On top of this is a moon cushion lying flat, and on top of that is a sun cushion, like a sun disk, lying flat. The moon cushion represents, sometimes they put the sun on top of the lotus, illuminating, right? And the moon on top of that. The moon represents relative bodhicitta, the wish to become enlightened to benefit all living beings. That's our method, our skillful means. Compassion, related to compassion, like that. On top of that, the sun disk represents the wisdom realizing emptiness. On this is what the Buddha sits. This is his foundation, which represents renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. 3 principles of the path, they're called. So you can imagine the Buddha is sitting on top of this, all of this in the nature of light. Okay, he's like a golden, radiant being. And if you like, on each corner of the throne below are 2 snow lions. So each corner, there's 8 snow lions to represent the Buddha's fearlessness, supporting that throne, guarding. The Buddha is draped in saffron robes, saffron colored robes. He has a radiant smile on his face, peaceful. His blue-black hair is tied up in a top knot on top of his head that has a crown protrusion at the top called an ushnisha. It's a sign of enlightenment. His left hand is in his lap holding a begging bowl filled with nectar. His right hand is positioned by his right knee with the middle finger touching the moon cushion. It is a mudra, a sign, gesture of enlightenment. This is the posture he was in when he got enlightened. His eyes are lightly closed to show he's in meditative absorption, slightly open to show he sees all the different realms of sentient beings that he's willing to help. And his lips are red, that shows he teaches out of compassion. Just imagine that he is in the space in front of you, as if he's actually there. If you'd like to make him inseparable with any particular teachers you have, you can think of that, or you can place them at his heart. But just get a sense of this radiant, golden light being in the space in front of you. And if you'd like, I'm going to share my screen for a moment so you can see this image of Shakyamuni Buddha. So the Buddha is very, very happy to help. Very beautiful. Here it says very peaceful. He totally accepts you for who you are. Can you imagine having somebody completely accept you? Like, really, probably on this planet, it's our parents that maybe feel that way. Regardless of your mistakes, imperfections, problems. And here's somebody who unlimitedly wants to help you every moment. You, not just you, but all living beings simultaneously. That's his wish. That's his purpose on the planet. You just feel that radiance in the space in front as best as you can. Just feel some of the qualities of the Buddha. As you look across at this being, he has no fear. He has no fear at all. Think if you were fearless. Think if you were fearless, how would life be different for you? Think if you had fully manifest wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness. How would that be in your life? But just get in touch with that as far as a absolute source a protection for us from more suffering? Could this be someone you would seek protection and refuge in, as opposed to all the other different coping mechanisms we run to, all the other beings we go to for help? Friends and family are wonderful, but are they limited? Are their minds limited? Can they really help you deeply dismantle delusion in your mind, which keeps you from suffering? Just think about that for a minute. Can you visualize light rays right now coming out of all the pores of the Buddha's body, his holy body? Imagine those light rays spreading out in all directions, reaching every corner of the universe. Can you imagine those rays are composed of countless tiny Buddhas? So they're going out, touching all the beings you're visualizing in the space around you, going out to all these living beings, helping them in some way. Think of them reaching over to Ukraine, Yemen, Afghanistan, all throughout your countries, touching every single being and helping them in some way. This is the power of the Buddha's mind. And imagine that some of these light rays come back, dissolving back into his body, having completed their work, coming back with all the blessings of the holy beings, fully energizing him. And realize, can we really take this firm refuge as much as we can reach in our hearts right now in the Buddha's enlightened qualities? So if we apply the medicine of the Buddha's teaching, if we actually apply and put that into practice, the Buddha's like the doctor. We've come for treatment, our delusions. We're not happy all the time. We want to help people unlimitedly, but we can't. He gives us information, medicine, the Dharma. Right? If we apply that medicine and take it effectively the way we're instructed to take it, like you take medicine from a doctor, we can become enlightened ourselves. So can you make a request right now from your heart to the Buddha for these blessings, okay? That you can become free from all negative energy, from all misconceptions, from all delusion, and develop all the realizations of the path to enlightenment. As best as you can, make that request from your heart. Feel it in your heart as best as you can. And imagine the Buddha grants our requests, very happy to help. And imagine now the space in front from that enlightened being we're visualizing. Imagine from his heart come numerous light rays. The first round, imagine light rays that purify our delusions, that purifies our negative karma, which prevents us from being happy. So imagine these light rays coming out of his heart. They're streaming over to us. Remember, he's slightly higher than our heads, coming through our forehead, dissolving into our forehead, ourselves and all the sentient beings we visualize around us, melting into our forehead, right now purifying us of all disease, all delusion, all negative karma, as we recite the Buddha's mantra here that I'm sharing on the screen, commonly pronounced, as you can see. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Tayata Om It's actually mune, mune, not muni, muni. Okay, it's more like an E on the end. Mune, mune, maha munaye soha. Tayata om mune, mune, maha munaye soha. So here you see the mune, mune just above. So as we make these I will first chant some, and then we can recite at our own pace the Shakyamuni Buddha's mantra, doing the visualization right now, just purifying. Tayata om mune, mune, ma mune so. Tayata om mune, mune, ma mune so. Tayata om mune, mune, maha mune soha. The colored light rays are whatever represents purification for you, whether it's images of purification, whether it's light rays that represent purification, all coming from the Buddha's heart, melting in your forehead. Tayata muni muni ma mune so. Tayata muni. Tayata muni. Tayata om muni muni maha mune soha. The next visualization, again, the light and radiance continues to flow from the Buddha's heart over to us, melting into our foreheads, and now it's granting us all the blessings and realizations. So also to all the beings we're visualizing around us as we recite the Buddha's mantra. Tayato muni muni mani so. Tayato muni. Tayata Muni Muni Maha Munaye Soha. So please visualize the Buddha in the space in front. Comes to your crown, facing the same direction as you, just a few inches in height, along with the throne. Imagine that visualization just slowly dissolving from the edges. He's very happy with our practice. But it dissolves from the edges of the visualization into the center, and along with the throne, the lotus, the sun and moon discs, into a radiant crystal drop of light that represents all the good qualities of that enlightened consciousness. And imagine that drop melting into your crown, and feel all the blessings of his holy body, holy speech, holy mind. And any reflection you have of emptiness, please reflect for a moment. You yourself lack any inherent, concrete, independent existence, as are any of the act of creating delusion, as are the delusions themselves that we're trying to purify. We do exist as the label me, labeled onto my body and mind. So that does exist and needs to be taken care of, but there's no inherently concrete, independent existence at all to that I that exists, that self. Doesn't exist like that at all. Please relax. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. So, depending on the amount of time you have, you can do the mantras longer. You can do a mala, a whole rosary of the mantras. The longer you go with concentration, you get more and more absorbed, more concentrated, and you also create a familiarity in your mind of visualizing a deity, an aspect of the Buddha, or the Buddha himself, while reciting mantras like we do with purification practices like Vajrasattva, things like that, and other practices. So just relax for a couple of minutes. If you want to stretch or adjust your posture before we go into the next meditation. This next meditation again corresponds to taking refuge in the three jewels. This is an analytical meditation. Analytical meditation. And some of the meditations that correspond to our Discovering Buddhism modules, they can be broken down. You don't need to do the whole meditation in one go. Because if you're sitting there for a long period of time and you start spacing out, it's not really that effective. So, for instance, if you're doing a 9-point death meditation, you could do 1 point per meditation for 10 or 20 minutes very concentratedly. If you're newer, keep the session shorter, but with good concentration, right? As you get more familiar with meditating, more experienced, right? Then your mind's ready to sit longer in meditation where you can get into deeper insights like that. So you can certainly break them down. The 9-point death meditation, for instance, you could do 3 points in a setting in a half an hour if you'd like, or focus on 1 point. With Shakyamuni Buddha, with this particular analytical meditation, take a couple of the points slowly. Take 20 minutes. 20 minutes is a really good time for analytical meditation. If you can't stretch to 30, 10 minutes can be a little short because the mind wanders. You want to bring it back. And then slowly over time, the more you do it regularly, consistently, then some insights start to spring up. If you can get into retreat mode, where you're doing it more concentratedly, several sessions a day, things really start to change in your mind, really start to get some insights about the different Lamrim topics, of which refuge is one. Let's begin this next meditation. And each one, if you started on its own, once again, individually, you'd have a motivation, have a good posture, do that little preliminary on the breath. But since we're doing different segments, it's fine. We've already done that. So let's start with the body of the meditation. So this first part of developing refuge in the three jewels, part of the refuge formula, why we take refuge, 2 main components are fear and confidence. So fear, because we're worried about what will come next in our life. We're concerned about the suffering we're experiencing now. We don't want it to get any worse. We're worried about what will happen when we die, if we get sick. If we believe in reincarnation, what will happen after we die? It could be worse than this life. Yeah? So initially the fear comes up, and we're going to focus on that right now. The fear, the sense of fear. How does it help us with refuge? Because what happens is a lot of people are fearful on the planet. They channel that into non-virtuous things, take refuge in non-virtuous things, right? Or we do run to friends and family for support and help. But if their minds are limited, you're getting limited support or help. The Buddha, this is how we're going to look, could have unlimited support and help. Okay, so something to think about. Just close your eyes and find that comfortable position. I'd like you to just reflect right now, and this is not easy, on the fears and dangers of samsara. The fears and dangers of samsara. So again, samsara is a Sanskrit term that simply means to cycle or to turn. What we're turning through is birth, old age, sickness, and death. All of that is suffering. All of that is suffering. And as you know in life, there's a lot of suffering, and that's just the nature of life. People die, people have accidents, they lose their jobs, they struggle financially, they have strife in their relationships, and on, and to becoming war on the planet. like that. So we know these things. Let's just focus for a moment on those. I know it can be a little heavy, but we want to generate this. I can't bear this anymore. We want to get to that feeling. I need more support. Where am I going to go? Who will I turn to? You just focus on that. Reflect on the fears, the dangers of samsara. And even look at your own individual suffering. Look at the suffering of those close to you. And don't lose heart of just lost in the agony of life, the fears and dangers of samsara. Let's focus for a moment right now. Here's the situation. You've created some incredibly positive karma, okay, that has resulted. The cause has resulted because karma is about cause and result, cause and effect, okay? Simply means action. It's the movement of your consciousness. You've created some incredible good fortune because you have a perfect human rebirth right now. In this lifetime, you got a perfect or precious human rebirth, which means you're a human with an optimum situation to practice Dharma. That means you can get yourself out of samsara. Okay. So let's reflect on that for a moment to give us the buoyancy to do this meditation properly. And think this incredible opportunity that we have right now can come to an end at any time, and it is going to come to an end soon. There's no guarantee that we're going to have fortunate circumstances in the next rebirth. There's no guarantee of that. Just think about that. And as you think about this, to focus on why we need the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the three rare, sublime ones, the three jewels of refuge, let's focus right now on the most extreme suffering of the lower realms of existence. This is hard to look at, but let's just focus for a moment. The lower realms of existence. Okay? The animal realm for a moment. We're familiar with that realm, we interact with it. Okay? Our pets are the very peak of that pyramid, very top point of that pyramid. Most animals are in the insect realm, in the sea. Their lives, think about wild animals. Their lives are consumed with eating, killing to eat, some of them, eating in fear, sleeping, fighting with other animals, mating to make more animals, escaping from other animals, going to the bathroom, kind of the extent of their existence. That's the animal realm. Think about those kind of sufferings in the animal realm. Really allow this fear to generate in your heart. But you're going to need some bigger support to prevent you, to protect you from this fear. And as you contemplate this, can you generate really a revulsion in your heart that you never want to take rebirth as an animal? Really think about some of these animal lives that really generate this revulsion. Almost it's unbearable. I cannot come back there. Let that renunciation grow in your heart as much as possible as we go through this meditation, looking at the lower realms of existence. Right now, we're just focused on the animal realm. What about the Preta or hungry ghost realm? This is the next realm down. These beings are consumed with hunger and thirst and grasping all the time. They do not have the karmic conditions set up. If they see a glass of water that a human would see water, clear, clean, they see a glass of pus and blood. If we look at a river and see the water gushing through a river, when they get to the riverbank, it's a dry riverbed. That's the karma they've created as a preta in Sanskrit, or hungry ghost, that's created by a lot of desire and attachment. Feel their existence where they search day and night with swollen bellies, stick like limbs, just like you see starving people. Their throats are too thin to fit any food down and it burns when it goes down. Okay. Huge eyes looking for one tiny little mote of dirt to eat. That's all they have the karma to connect with. Think of that existence. Try to be a preta for a moment, but allow it to help you generate renunciation, this wish to get out of samsara. Everywhere they turn is barren of crops. Every type of the food that they come in contact with is rotten, unnourishing, disappears when they approach it. Every drop to drink is like that. Just think of that existence. You wander endlessly through eons like that. Think about the suffering of the hell realms, the lowest realm. Think about the suffering of the hell realms. This is terrifying. Sometimes we catch our finger in a flame. We're lighting a candle and the lighter burns us. Think about if that's your existence of your whole body, multiplied a million times of that pain. And all the other things we've studied about the hell realms. Just what you would imagine, but also freezing cold hells, perhaps. Think of the little bit of discomfort you experience on the planet physically. Can you multiply it a billion, trillion times? That's your everyday existence all the time in that realm. Let it help you generate. I'm done with samsara. I'm done with trying to perfect samsara. I need a way out of this. Please reflect on that. The revulsion of these realms can be terrifying. We're not leaving it there just at terrifying us. That's not the point of Buddhism. That's not the point of refuge. But we first really want to try to develop some renunciation in our minds that there's nothing good here to hold on to in samsara. There's nothing good here to hold on to. Even think of the upper realms right now. We have human realm, that's our realm. We have two God realms, a jealous God realm, and they're always fighting and looking at the hedonistic God realm. But the hedonistic God realm, it's so pleasurable. They have no interest to practice Dharma. And they don't stay there forever. It's temporary. So when they use up all the merit that they have by experiencing pleasure, they usually end up in a lower realm. There's nothing permanent in samsara, nothing really pleasurable there, no ability really to practice Dharma except mostly in the human realm that we're in. But look at the suffering on our planet. So just observe for a moment, reflect on the upper realms of existence. Now, we have some beautiful things about our planet, and you've had some happy moments in your life, no doubt. They're always fleeting, temporary, not lasting forever. You try to hang on to them. You try to increase the pleasure. Try to lengthen the pleasure. Think about all we go through to have that pleasure last, to recreate it again. It's always fleeting, always escapes us. Just observe, just reflect for a moment the upper realms of existence. Anything perfect, ultimately long lasting, can you find there? Aren't you tired of the pandemic? This is what our planet has. This is what the human realm has. Diseases, cancers, horrible autoimmune issues, accidents, natural disasters, hatred, mass shootings, war, on and on and on. Poverty, starvation, racism, gender inequality. Can go on and on. But again, let's use it right now wisely, not just to stay mired and depressed. Let's, with reality, facing reality, as Lama Yeshe says, touching reality. Look at our existence. Let it generate true renunciation more and more in your heart. You don't want to settle here. You don't want to make it okay. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean we can't enjoy the good things that do come. When you understand more of samsara's nature, we probably enjoy more. But if we're constantly trying to fix samsara, as soon as I get the job sorted, everything will be okay. That's what we say. As soon as I have the relationship sorted, everything's going to be okay. As soon as I move, everything will be okay. As soon as I get the new appliance sorted and get that fixed and get my kid into school and get the car and get this done, everything will be okay. And then there's another thing, another problem, and another problem, and another dissatisfaction, and another uncertainty, and another fear, and another loss. And again, and again, and again, you go through this life after life after life. Aren't you tired of it? Allow that to grow some renunciation in your heart. Please focus for a moment on that. Let it generate that renunciation in your heart. Who can really help you? Who can really help get you out of samsara? Is it your friends? Your family? People you like the most? Is it your most brilliant colleague at work? Will they have some way of sorting it out? Your partner? Your dog? What is going to sort it for you? What is going to protect you from more suffering? What gives you information that can ultimately free your heart and mind? Just think about the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha for a moment. Whatever you know of them and their qualities, just focus on them for a moment. Does it give you inspiration to find your resources there? Can you really feel some refuge in your heart that you're willing to turn to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha for support? Turn to that omniscient consciousness for support, and all knowing consciousness, whether it's in the form of your teacher, different teachers you've met, whether you take refuge from your heart in the Buddha, consciousness that knows everything and knows the best path for you to quickly get enlightened and get out of samsara. Just feel as much as you can. If you'd like that refuge in your heart right now. Can you make a commitment in conclusion of this meditation? Make a commitment in your heart to deepen that refuge as much as you can, to explore more of the qualities of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in your practice, in your studies, in your life, to find your refuge there. Please relax. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. So, from this first segment of the hour and a half of our practice, let's dedicate whatever positive energy or merit we've created. We're going to take a break for an hour, and let's dedicate the merit to through the break time, 1 hour, really thinking about refuge, thinking about these sufferings we were just contemplating in a balanced way, reflecting on our precious human rebirth, using it wisely in the hour. If you're having a snack, you're having lunch or something, offering the food to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha first. Keeping the Buddha image out there. You can leave it out there all day, every day for yourself. At the end of the day, dissolving the replica into you, or dissolving like that, and then dissolving and feeling all that inspiration of the holy body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. But may it help us on our path to Buddhahood so we can be of the most benefit to lead all others out of samsara to full enlightenment as well. So we're going to take 1 hour break, and we come back for just an hour and a half. Thank you so much. Welcome back to our second session of, again, 3 more meditations related to our Discovering Buddhism module, Refuge in the 3 Jewels. Thank you so much for joining. So again, find that comfortable posture for your body, finding the nice extension of the spine. Lightly close your eyes as you begin to bring the gaze inward. Deepening your respiration. And just check that the body is relatively relaxed. You can use your respiration in more creative ways. If you'd like to inhale something positive like joy, feel it filling all the different parts of your body, all the different thoughts, all the way down to a molecular level. And as you exhale, exhale something that no longer benefits, despair, or whatever other negative condition you'd like to let go of. And again, inhaling something positive, exhaling something negative. Settling the mind on your breath as you once again just reestablish a positive motivation for these meditations. So, returning back to the analytical meditation on refuge that we were doing. And once again, let's reconsider the preciousness of our human life right now, a life that has met Dharma teachings, has an ability to practice, has a healthy, balanced mind that can do these meditations and study the Dharma. Just take a moment rejoicing in first the positive circumstances of the life you have right now. Reflect for a moment on your good qualities as well, which gets a little more delicate for some people. Your good qualities, you have many. Just think about those for a moment, really inhaling that appreciation for yourself into all the aspects of your body and mind, really fully appreciating this rebirth that you have gotten yourself into, that you have created. Tibetan Buddhism says your mind, past activities have created this rebirth for you. Please experience that appreciation right now, gratitude deeply to yourself and the situation. Think about the Buddha in the space in front again, and we can always keep him out there, kind of holding our meditation, even though that's not going to be the main focus of this meditation. But you can imagine the Buddha there on a beautiful throne, radiant, light being. Always happy to help us. So we were exploring what cultivates some renunciation is considering the lower realms of existence, and all six realms we were looking at of a samsaric rebirth we have no control over, taking rebirth in any of those realms. So let's contemplate right now fears and dangers. Again, this is the one aspect of refuge, the motivator, using fear as a motivator. Okay. And the other aspects was confidence, as we're going to look later in the qualities of Buddha Dharma Sangha. But let's just look at the fears and dangers of samsara that all living beings experience, that all living beings experience to help us generate some more renunciation. So if you can reflect that all beings have been our mother's infinite times due to the beginningless nature of our minds. Beginningless nature of our minds. Every moment of your consciousness, every thought has a preceding moment that causes it, that gives rise to it. You can't ever trace back, Buddhism says, to a first moment of mind or first thought, because it will say there's always a cause and effect relationship. Karma is a law that exists. So everything comes about because of a preceding condition or cause, like that. As a result of that, if there's no beginning to your mind, that indicates past lives. If there's countless past lives because there's never a first one, because something will have caused that, the mind is there in that life, then there is a possibility that all beings have been your mother in one life or another. So just contemplate all these lives we may have had. Countless, countless. Think of the vastness going back. You can reflect for a moment on that beginningless nature of mind. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? The Refuge course comes a little later in the Discovering Buddhism modules, with mind being the first one. But we get a sense of that beginningless nature. Every moment we think is the first moment, like our conception. The mind is there at conception, Buddhism says, but it's not part of the body that got formed from sperm and egg. Sperm and egg is the beginning of your body in this life. Tibetan Buddhism says the mind is there as well, non-physical. Doesn't come from the sperm and egg because it's not physical. Comes from a previous moment of consciousness that causes it before conception, which indicates a past life. And if there's a past life, then there's a life before that one and a life before that one. Just think of the vastness, countless nature of all those lives. All the sentient beings who have been our mothers, infinite times. Contemplate that for a moment. How incredibly kind, how inconceivably, how immeasurably kind to us they've been in previous lives. Think of how all these, what we call mother sentient beings, okay, all these ordinary beings with an ordinary consciousness, sentient being, not a Buddha consciousness, okay, that have all been your mothers. The possibility exists in past lives, okay? How they're caught in this web of samsara. Think of all their suffering, all these beings that have been so kind to us. Think about how confused they are by not having a direct perception of emptiness, by not having met the Dharma, that perhaps being soldiers in a war, following orders that they don't know to do anything differently, perhaps starving, poor, struggling with finances, struggling to support their kids, their families, with immeasurable illnesses. Think of all these beings, whether they're beings you visualize around you right now, beings we've heard about, but just thinking about the war in Ukraine, other places in the world. Let your heart go out to them. How best can you help them right now? In your ordinary state, if you have an ordinary mind, how best can you help them? Think about how they're continuously creating causes for more suffering, continuously creating causes for more suffering than causes to be free of samsara. Think of their plight. Really feel that in your heart. Please generate some strong compassion for their plight, strong loving kindness for them, this wish to free them from the suffering. But in my current state, how can I really help them? How can I ultimately help them? Okay, certainly help along the way. Okay, so let this cultivate in your heart. Can you generate a strong determination to move along this path to enlightenment, to move along it quickly, because we really want to free these beings from suffering. We really want to show them a way that they can get out of samsara too. Just generate that in your heart, this first cause of taking refuge. Cause of taking refuge according to the Mahayana scope, the motivation for a higher capable being. Explore in a way the biggest wish, the greatest wish you could have. So, again, in reviewing, we first contemplated the suffering of the lower realms. Suffering of the lower realms, which helps us generate a fear that we're terrified when we die, things will be much greater for us. That motivates us to practice, motivates us to find a proper refuge that can help shortcut samsara for us. Show us the way out of samsara. First motivation, lower capable being. Okay. Then we look a little bit around our current situation. Middle capable being motivation. Even life in samsara right now on planet Earth, there's some glory, there's some beauty, there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of suffering. But really allowing this greater scope motivation to take hold of your heart, bodhicitta motivation. It's not enough to just say, I really want to end my own suffering, because all these other beings are suffering. So considering again all these mother sentient beings, possibility of them being my mother in past lives, thinking about the way all of them suffer. So many people suffer now. So how can I best free them? What kind of the best information I can give them from a huge mind of omniscience? Okay. So that means I have to become a Buddha. I have to become a Buddha. Let that motivate me right now. Please generate that in your heart. This really strong wish that I can get fully enlightened with the right guidance from Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but really to reach Buddhahood quickly again, quickly. Why? Then I'm unlimited in leading all these mother sentient beings to enlightenment themselves, out of samsara to enlightenment themselves. As much as you can, reflect on that. Try to feel that in your heart. And make a commitment right now, just in closing this meditation. Make a commitment not to get paralyzed by the fear and the suffering around you. The fear is a motivator, not to get too overwhelmed by some of the negative situations that happen in the world, because then the planet needs us more than ever. Those that have a precious human rebirth, please consider that. His Holiness has a beautiful prayer: never give up. Never give up. So just thinking about that we have this precious human rebirth, let's use it as best as we can. Even if we're limited, we try kindness. Every moment we breathe, we try as much as we can in our capacity. But continue to study, continue to build a meditation practice, to go to centers, support centers, get into deeper levels of practice, go through the classes, ask your questions like that. Why? Because people need you. People really need our help right now. This is the path. Let's make it quicker that we can get to enlightenment. I know it takes a lot of effort, but beings really, really need our help right now. And we have every perfect capacity, every perfect opportunity right now to practice. All the conditions are there. I know it takes a lot of effort. We can do it. So please don't give up, as hard as it can be. So just feel that generate in your heart. All these beings' helplessness, their suffering. And can you right now generate in your heart and mind, okay, one small realistic adjustment you can make this week from now on in your practice, whether it's to get on your cushion more, to set up a regular meditation practice, to do the next class you want to do, to read that book, to study that in the Dharma, some realistic adjustment you can make. It's going to have you devote a little bit more time to your Dharma practice, hoping with that direction to get you enlightened quickly to benefit all living beings. Make that dedication in your heart right now. Please relax. We'll just take 5 minutes. Welcome back. We're going to do this meditation now, exploring the qualities of the Buddha. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but particularly the Buddha jewel of the 3 jewels of refuge. So first we have generated this fear, and it's uncomfortable, I understand. It's uncomfortable. But again, we use it as a motivator. And we really have to get out of samsara, because sometimes we get too comfortable in samsara in the West. And a lot of times we're trying to fix samsara. Another problem. It's futile to fix samsara. It's a broken situation that isn't perfect all the time. But in the West, what happens, or people that have privileged lives, we get fooled into thinking that there's going to be lasting pleasure here. So there are pleasurable experiences, not quite touching the pleasure you can have if you have an omniscient, blissful consciousness, like a Buddha mind, okay? So a lot of people want to settle and say, it's good enough. It's good enough. But then some suffering rears its head in small ways, sometimes in larger ways. And ultimately, we are going to die. Unfortunately, that situation is coming quickly as a mortal being. If you're a Buddha, your body may die, but your mind doesn't experience any suffering, and you can completely control your rebirth. But as an ordinary being, If you have limitations on your consciousness, you can't control that. And sometimes thrown into a much less fortunate state. So let's just look to, and then the second part of the refuge formula is the inspiration, the confidence that we get from exploring the qualities of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So just sitting comfortably, you could lightly close your eyes. Just settle the mind on the breath for a moment. We'd like to look at why the three jewels are fitting objects of ultimate refuge, why they're able to liberate us completely and permanently from all of our suffering. That's what we need, not just temporary relief. Okay. So rather than having this quick band aid fix temporarily, okay, what we want is a real lasting fix, ultimate. Okay. So let's look at these different characteristics. First, let's look at the Buddha jewel, the Buddha. As we know, Shakyamuni Buddha is a conventional refuge. The Buddha lived 2,600 years ago. Inspiring story of the Indian prince who renounced the kingdom, his family, everything, but with a very strong desire, compelling desire to end suffering for everyone, not just himself, for everyone. When he saw how people suffered, he couldn't believe his friends, his loved ones, everyone would suffer. And really, with that in his heart, went out to figure out meditation techniques, study, practice. There has to be an end to the suffering. And one of the things he discovered is, first, to get to the end, you have to discover the cause of the suffering, which we say is delusion and karma. But let's look at the qualities of the mind, of that attainment of enlightenment, omniscience. Okay? Please explore this. Please reflect. The Buddha is free from all fears. Free from all fears. So I've said that before, but let's really deeply contemplate what it is to be free from all fears. Okay, people are afraid right now on the planet. They have anxiety, which is a form of fear. Fear also creates anger and makes them lash out. Some people have it strongly where they end up with panic attacks that are crippling, where they can't work. I think we're somewhat familiar with fear on the planet, what that means, what it does to people. Can you just imagine right now, as you think about this point, I'd like you to first imagine your life without any fear at all in your mind. So explore a little bit what you do fear, but imagine that would be gone if you were a Buddha, if you had an omniscient consciousness. could that mean in your life? How would it feel? How does it feel now in your body and mind? Thinking of any fears you have, but you wouldn't have those. So, how would that feel? Just place it in your body. It's gone. Does your body feel any different? What if your mind was free of all fear? How would that feel? What would change in your life? But it's not just free of all fear and you're doing foolish things, it's having all the wisdom developed as well. Would anything change in your life? What would your life be like without any fear in your mind? Think about beings like His Holiness the Dalai Lama that actually live on the planet with us, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, perhaps other teachers you have with high realizations. If you've ever spent time around them, read their books, watched videos of them, seeing how they operate on the planet with the confidence, because they're not subject to fear. That's what the omniscient consciousness is like. That's the Buddha mind. Okay? Could it be a source? Could it be that ultimate refuge for us? How do you think it could help you in that, in your life, getting in contact with that kind of consciousness, being around that kind of consciousness, studying with the kind of consciousness? Would you want to deepen your refuge in that kind of mind, in that kind of being? So it's not just about alleviating your own fear. The Buddha's mind, the omniscient mind, has the skillful means to free all others from all their fears by teaching them the Dharma. Think about what you could do for all the beings you encounter, all the beings you're confused about how to help. Think about how that consciousness would benefit all of them. That's what the Buddha mind does. Is that not a source of ultimate refuge for you? Just reflect on that. Let's think about this quality. The Buddha has great compassion for all living beings with no exception. Okay, whether they're close to him, whether they're kind to him or not, great compassion for all living beings. Who do you know that has compassion like that? Is there anybody in your life you feel that you run to for help, support, but they're biased? So, what they might tell you is and advise you is what you should do based on their bias, on their judgments, on perhaps a limited consciousness about others because they prefer you. That's where they advise from. Is that the Buddha mind? No. Great compassion for all living beings. Not having necessarily a closeness with one in particular, so they advise them differently than someone they're not that close with, or because this person's been kinder, nicer, does more things for us. Think about that consciousness, compassion, great compassion for all living beings with equanimity. Let's just reflect on this. The Buddha's like the doctor diagnosing our illness. That's the first noble truth. They're suffering. That's our illness. They're suffering. He diagnoses the cause of the suffering. Second noble truth. Okay? The cause of the suffering. Delusion and karma. Delusion and karma. He's identified that. He's told us this is what it is. You don't have to look elsewhere. Here it is. Wonderful. Okay? Then he teaches us the remedy. The remedy. So, for instance, the techniques of how to transform delusion in our mind. The techniques of how to transform delusion in our mind. Buddha's made that available to us through all the practices, meditations, trainings, shown us a path to that, a path to enlightenment, how to practice that. So we come to the Dharma, okay, the actual remedy, the Dharma, the medicine, okay? The fourth noble truth of the path to the cessation of suffering, the path to the cessation of suffering. And that brings us to a state of complete health, complete liberation. The third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. Okay? Third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. Nirvana. Nirvana is literally liberation, technically a permanent cessation of all your mental afflictions. That sounds pretty good. Permanent. You don't go back, it's permanent in your mind stream. And then you continue to build along that. You're not a Buddha yet. Continue to remove subtle obscurations to omniscience. Like that. So that you can reach that final omniscience, final enlightenment. Okay? And then we have the Sangha. Let's think about the Sangha for a moment. The healthcare practitioners, nursing staff. Okay? They help us apply the remedy. They help us practice the Dharma. They show us all the pitfalls, all the different snags, supporting us, showing us how they've done it so that it's possible. Treating them a little bit to their minds, right? A mind that may have a direct perception of emptiness. capital S, Sangha, Arya Sangha. So just think for a moment of yourself as a patient. You come to the omniscient physician. When you get sick, normally, I've heard many people say this. I think many people do this, right? Just reflect right now for a moment, yourself or a friend of yours or a family member, when you got sick, a little bit more serious sickness, think of the medical treatment you tried to find. First of all, you'd research, you go to your doctor, then they might send you to a specialist. Think about your research if you wanted to find a different specialist, if you were advised to get a second opinion by friends and family. Did you do any research online? Did you contact different doctors, different people who were treated at different places by different physicians and check? Don't you want to find the best doctor, best treatment? So just reflect for a moment. When you become ill now, in general, you or a loved one, just reflect for a moment on your process of getting treatment, of finding the best physician. What if you could find the omniscient physician who would know exactly what you need to do without any question? Without any question. Sometimes we go to a physician. Physicians are human beings. If they're not enlightened and they make mistakes, we've all known people that have gone to physicians, they misdiagnosed, made a mistake that cost the person their life. It's very, very common. So it's not about blame, it's about karma, taking responsibility for our mind. But this is your mind. This is your mind. So wouldn't you want the omniscient physician to guide you? Don't you want the best for your mind, for your consciousness? So just reflect for a moment. The Buddha's qualities, if you follow his teachings, the Dharma, that's the medicine. You're assisted in your practice by kind nursing staff, kind medical practitioners. Think about when they're kind, because they're not always kind. And sometimes there's complications in making appointments. They didn't take the x-ray right, you have to do it again. They lost the reference notes. Think about Arya Sangha, who've had a direct perception of the nature of reality, of emptiness, right? Who have that wisdom helping you, supporting you on the path. Just think about Buddha, Dharma, Sangha right now as refuge. Who else can better support you on this path? Who else can liberate you from samsara, lead you to that place where you're free of all the suffering? Who else? See if you find anybody else in your life. Who else can lead you to full enlightenment? If you have someone else who can, that's not part of Buddha Dharma Sangha, good to follow them. But really reflect, really assess who else is there in your life that has those qualities. And also reflect on the earlier meditations we did. Don't you really want to get out of the suffering permanently? Only someone who is free can free another. Only someone who is perfect can lead another to perfection. Can you, from your heart right now, before we conclude this meditation, generate as much faith as you can in whatever's arisen for you through the course, through these meditations in Buddha Dharma Sangha, as much as you can right now. And in conclusion, just remember that the best manifestation of taking refuge is to be mindful, okay, and observe our karma carefully, okay, abandoning non virtuous actions of body, speech, and mind as much as we can, and practicing virtue as much as we can. Please relax. Just pause for a couple of minutes. Our final meditation today, we're going to go back to the Shakyamuni Buddha practice. A nice conclusion. And I'll share my screen when we get to the mantra. So I really want to thank everyone for joining, and you can listen to the recording. And thank you so much for joining the class that we did. And hopefully we will have more Discovering Buddhism modules in the future. And really continue on from here to don't just let the refuge finish at this point. Continue to think about it. Notice when you're suffering. Notice your responsibility in it. It comes from the mind, is what Buddhism says. It all comes from the mind. No one out there to blame. It's not that we're blaming ourselves. We're just taking responsibility to create more virtue from now into the future and to purify the negative stuff that got created because we got confused. That's all. We make mistakes because we don't have a direct perception of emptiness. That's all. We're doing our best. Like that. So just visualizing again the Buddha in the space in front. And it's really nice. You can think of him in the morning, put him out there, or a particular teacher. As you get into higher level practices, it can get a little bit more elaborate, but it's really nice. can leave them out there all day. So if you get into trouble, get confused, you're hurting something, you can ask them for help. Use them and slowly becomes more of a habit like that. So consider the Buddha again, a few inches in height and the space in front slightly higher than the level of your forehead, seated on a beautiful, radiant, golden throne adorned with many jewels. And that throne again is supported on each corner by two snow lions. So there's 8 snow lions representing one of his qualities, fearlessness. And he is on again an open white lotus flower, sun and moon cushions lying flat on which he sits, the 3 principal aspects of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. He's seated in the full lotus position, draped in beautiful saffron robes, radiant smile on his face, his hair tied up in a top knot with a crown protrusion. His left hand in his lap holds a begging bowl filled with nectar. His right hand is by his right knee, with the middle finger touching the moon cushion in the mudra of enlightenment. Earth touching mudra, they say. Much as you can, get a feeling as if he is really there, all in the nature of light. And just think about the qualities we've mentioned: fearlessness, every positive quality manifests, fully manifests. Wisdom, compassion, loving kindness, all the goodness is there. Never interrupted for one moment in the Buddha, like that. And it's something you can attain yourself, something you can reach yourself. So really feeling that refuge in your heart and generating a very strong wish. And just imagining, if you'd like again, all these beings in the space around you, including your family to your sides, friends and people you like in a semicircle behind you, all the rest of the space filled with living beings, with the Buddha there, a few feet in front of you, facing you. Just think about all the sufferings these beings experience, including yourself. From here, can you generate a refuge in your heart, in this being of omniscient mind that represents Buddha, Dharma, Sangha? He is the 3 jewels, and he's an embodiment of that. And just feel that refuge in your heart as much as you can. Cultivate as much as you can. Seeking protection from this omniscient consciousness to protect you from more suffering. Make a request from your heart to the Buddha for whatever help you'd like on your path, whatever removal of obscurations that prevents you from practicing more, meditating more, studying more, whatever help you would like on this path to enlightenment to help it go more smoothly, more quickly. Ask the Buddha right now for whatever it is you need in that regard. Buddha is very, very happy to help. And imagine light rays are coming out of every pore of his body, and they're going to all the different directions, touching every sentient being as if there's little tiny Buddhas emanating from the light rays, touching every sentient being, giving them whatever it is they need right now. And also going out into space and hooking back all the realizations and everything from all the holy beings. Just imagine that happening for a moment. And imagine all these light rays from all the holy beings come back, streaming back right into the center of the Buddha's heart, fully energizing the visualization. And as the Buddha is very happy to help us, imagine again light rays coming from his heart, streaming out, touching all the living beings, and even coming over to you, entering you through your forehead. Whatever light rays represent purification to you, whatever images represent purification. So, purifying us right now as we recite his mantra that I'll share the screen, purifying us of any obstacles to taking deeper, proper refuge, and also helping us along this path to enlightenment. And I'm just going to share my screen for you to see the mantra we're going to recite. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Munaye Soha. So first we'll chant. And again, this visualization, the light coming from the Buddha's heart right into our center of our forehead and all those around us, purifying any obstacles we have right now to moving along the path quickly to enlightenment, to benefiting all living beings. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Munaye Soha. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Munaye Soha. Tayata Om Mune Mune Maha Munaye Soha. Please recite at your own pace. Tayata. Tayata Mune Mune Maha Munaye Soha. Let's imagine the light rays continue from the Buddha's heart, coming now in golden light forms, granting us all the blessings and realizations of Shakyamuni Buddha's holy body, holy speech, holy mind, coming into our forehead and that of all the living beings around us, again, granting us all the blessings and realizations. And as you do this, as much, just feel great bliss if you can. Taya Dhammani Manamana Satai Dhammani Manamana Satai. Taya Tao Mune Mune Mamane So Taya Tao Mune Mune Mamane So Taya Tao Mune Mune Mahamune So. So please imagine the Buddha in the space in front, along with the throne, comes to the crown of your head, facing the same direction as you. He's very pleased with our practice. Or you can dissolve a replica of the Buddha, have him come to your crown. Imagine that visualization dissolving from the edges into the center, along with the throne, lotus, sun, and mundus on which he sits, dissolving into a radiant drop of light. And imagine this melts into our crown. And just feel all the blessings of the omniscient consciousness that is the Buddha's holy body, holy speech, holy mind. That concludes our day-long meditation practice, focused mostly on refuge and the three jewels. We're going to do some dedication prayers just to close. I'm going to just share my screen. And I really love this beautiful dedication from Master Shantideva. Feel free, you can read along. Sending this out to all the beings on the planet who really need it so much right now. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. Wait, I forgot to share my screen. There we go. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as living beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the suffering of all living beings. So I'd like to dedicate to our quickly getting enlightened to benefit all living beings. I'd like to dedicate to all those who need additional healing. May they find it immediately, completely. And we're just going to do these long life prayers for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thank you so much.